So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our call. It is Tuesday, the 1st of May, the beginning of a new month. So I hope you've had finished the month of April enthusiastically with your targets being hit, with clear expectations of what you want to see accomplished in the month of May. I think it's important that we come into any given month with a clear perspective of what we want to achieve in our businesses. One thing that strikes me time and time again is in this environment where we work from home, where we are the captains of our own vessel and the masters of our own destiny, it comes down to us more than anyone else. We can plug in to a team, and we want to be as plugged in and as connected as possible. But ultimately, it comes down to us, doesn't it, in regards to getting the job done? And I feel that keenly myself when it comes to my own goals, my own expectations of what I need to accomplish, that it really comes down to me and what's inside me moving me forward. That's one of the reasons we have these calls, of course, is to inspire and to ignite and to keep that fire going so that we can keep moving forwards. We want to have everyone feeling connected, feeling loved, feeling supported, feeling encouraged, and of course, getting answers to their questions. I always strive, as I've often said, to address subjects that come up throughout the course of any given week as a result of mentoring and coaching. And one subject that's come up this week, which I think is really, really important for us, is this subject that I guess the language we hear, we've heard it for years. If you're an old-timer or a long-timer in Niken, perhaps it was given birth to by Mike. He certainly seems to use it more than anyone else, this language or this phrase of rhythm of the business. We need to have this rhythm, don't we? And I pull it off my bookshelf, but I've just lent this book out to someone else this week. But there is, within this book on time management, it explains a couple of things. One, what is time? Time is a measurement. That's what it is, isn't it? It's simply measuring the distance or space between one event and another. So the fundamental element of time, along with it being a measurement, is events. It is events. Without that, it would be very difficult to manage or measure anything, because that's what time does. It measures the events in our lives. Time management, therefore, is really learning on our part to take control of the events in our lives. And when we learn to do that effectively or productively, then we start to get an increase of self-esteem. This was a cycle that this book kind of taught us, was the more productive we are, the more our self-esteem goes up. The more our self-esteem goes up, the more we take control of our lives and the events within it, the more we become productive, and so on. And it becomes a virtuous circle. I think I just saw here Ruth asked the title of the book. I think it is simply Time Management. The author is Richard Woodward. It's an old book, and I'm not sure how many copies are left. But if you're familiar with the Franklin Planner that was out many years ago, he was the original author of the Franklin Planner, and this was the book that he wrote at the time that they introduced that planner many years ago. So really, really good. I'm very biased. I worked very closely with him, and he's a good friend of mine. But I highly recommend that book because it outlines it in a very simple way. Time management is nothing more, nothing less than us learning to take control of the events in our lives. And the more control we feel, the more productive we become, and the more our self-esteem increases. Have you noticed if you don't feel in control of the events in your life, your self-confidence goes down? And yet when you do feel in control, your self-confidence goes up, doesn't it? Yeah. So you can see the relationship there. What it also talks about is what is called the productivity pyramid. And at the foundation of that pyramid, I know we don't like to talk about pyramids in network marketing, but this is one that we do like to talk about. It's a productivity pyramid. And at the foundation, it says that you've got to have the foundation built upon your core fundamental values. Everything that we do has to flow out from there. For us in Niken, it's simple, because we all have some values that we share. The 5 pillars of health. We value having a balance with a healthy mind, a healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And we all feel, I think, a common sense of purpose in sharing that message with others. Now, that's what kind of unites us as a team. So that's good. But it identifies that we need to get that foundation of what are our core values established. Then we go through what are our long-term goals, then our midterm goals, then our short-term goals, then our daily tasks. So you can see why it's shaped in that triangular shape. And of course, there is an arrow going from the bottom through to the top, which goes from the core values all the way through into your daily tasks. You see how they all start to relate, because your daily tasks flow from your short-term goals, your midterm goals, your long-term goals, which are all based upon your governing values. That helps us both get a good result, but also helps us enjoy the journey as well. And I think that's really important for us to recognize that we want to make sure we enjoy the journey too. So this here, which has been taught for decades here through the Franklin system, is also taught consistently in Nikken under slightly different language called the rhythm of the business, where we get that rhythm of short daily tasks, weekly tasks, monthly tasks, quarterly tasks, annual tasks, and so on, where we have that focus of behavior. So we know the daily tasks. If I was to ask each of you what you think you should do on a daily basis in your business, please feel free to chat away and place your comments in the chat. It'll be interesting to see what people come up with, but daily activities required for you to grow in your business. What do you think they might be? Put some answers in and I'll read them out, because this will be interesting. Contact and invite. Yoko, you nailed it right there. Make contacts and invite. There's a couple more, of course. Madeline's saying the same thing. There's one other. In order for us to do that effectively, add new contacts. Thank you, Kathleen, from the UK. Add new contacts to my business every day. We can't contact and invite, of course, if we're not adding new people to our list. So we need to add new people to the list, and we need to, of course, invite them to do something, contact, reach out to them. I was at a meeting in the Netherlands a few years back, and a gentleman proudly showed me his very expansive contact list. It was like this big. And he was showing it off with great pride, not knowing what the next activity was that we were about to do in our training. And I said to him, excellent, everyone's got their contact list, because some people go, this is mine. Yeah. He came out with this massive folder. Here's my list. You asked me to bring it with me, and here it is. And I said, great. What we're going to do for the next 30 minutes is reach out to people on our contact list and invite them to hear a presentation or connect with them in some way over the next 7 days. So connect with as many people as you can, set as many appointments as you can for the next 7 days, get ready, go. Everyone got busy but him. He was doing nothing. And so I went over to him. I was like, what's the deal? What's going on? And it turned out that this was a great list that he had. He built it 7 years ago, and he hasn't used it since. Okay, so where's the point in that? The value of our contact list is valuable, is commensurate or proportionate with the use of it. How dynamic is it? How fresh is it? How current is it? What are we doing with it? It needs to be a living document. It doesn't have to be on paper. Nowadays, that doesn't always have to be the case. But we do need to make sure that we're adding people to our list, that we are extending invitations, that we're doing contacting, that we're doing the follow-up. That's been listed as well. Utilizing the ABCs. Excellent. So we've got some clear roadmaps there for our daily critical behaviors. What would you say would be a critical weekly activity? Something that should happen every week. At least once. Type away. Type away. In-homes. Excellent. Madeline, thank you. Jumping in there. In-home presentations. Zoom events. Yeah. If we've got people in our local proximity, 100%, we bring them into our homes. Our home is one of the best places to showcase the business, because we have something very unique in Nikken, the Nikken Wellness Home. And we can show them our wellness home on location, so to speak, and let them see the benefits. ABCs, absolutely. Webinars, people, we should definitely be inviting people to join us on these types of calls. I've got nothing wrong with a prospect jumping on a call such as the one that we're having today, and participating and being a part of it. There is nothing to hide here. There's nothing that is, top secret. I think absolutely we should be inviting them, reaching out, engaging. Yeah, also reaching out to our team. So yeah, ABCs, doing presentations, 3 ways, ABCs, in homes, connecting with our team members. Excellent. What about monthly activities? Right away again, what should we do on a monthly basis? Ruth has also put here, just as people are typing, we look at our numbers weekly and compare them to our goals. Ruth, I love that answer. Yes. It's been said repeatedly, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And I would also perhaps amend that a little bit and say, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it, or you're not managing it. Yeah, so it's really important that we need to measure our performance with our goals. Maggie, I like what you've put here, the lock-in event. We have a monthly lock-in event that takes place the 3rd Saturday of every month. You can host your own event, and you've got the Power ABC element where people can be introduced to your upline, where they can present a message on your behalf to support your presentations, your team, your events, your prospects, your customers, and what have you. Really important to use those. The Power Hour in Team Lock-in event as well. Madeline's mentioned that too. 100%, another good event there, 100% worthwhile participating in and supporting. These events have a common, essentially the same purpose, don't they? They're designed to help you lock in new people in your business and help them get started. So use these types of events, host your own, use the power of the upline, join together and get a good benefit coming out the other side. What about quarterly? Any ideas on quarterly rhythm activities? Expos, regional quarterlies, collaborations, what have you. Yeah, that's right. That's right. One thing, as I look forward to this, as I look at the schedule for this year, we've got 4 events. We normally have 3. We normally have Salt Lake City, Orlando, and San Antonio. This year we've got 4 events. They're not quite quarterly because they're kind of a little bit of a mishmash in regards to dates. My date is normally in April, May, due to the trip to Japan for Team Kaizen in April makes it very difficult to make it happen then. In May, makes it difficult. There's the 25th anniversary for Mexico. Either side of that made it difficult, and it just ended up becoming pushed further and further down, so that the earliest date I could get that was reasonable with any sense of common sense was the date that we've got. We've got San Antonio in November this time instead of October, and we have a new event in October in Toronto, which I think is fantastic that for the North American environment that we are in, we have Canada being represented as it does here. And of course, that's quite an international experience. We have a lot of people coming from Latin America to participate in that event as well. I want to talk about this because next year I want to touch upon, of course, a little bit on Orlando, perhaps selfishly for just a couple of minutes. But I want to give you a context for what we're going to do this year for Orlando. Next year, I'm going to change my focus for Orlando and try to get it a bit more of a regional focused experience, so that people that are in that area, and I include within that area kind of the Atlanta, Georgia area too, we can have a regional event so that we can start to develop these regional experiences around the country or around the region, around the market, I should say, of North America, where we have a meaningful regional expos, events that are taking place that will be shorter, more focused, more punchy, and then we can have an annual experience that will knock your socks off. Does that make sense? And I think that sounds really good. We had a great call just a few days ago with Mr. Foley, with Jeff, with Dave Johnson, with Mike DiMuccio, myself, and Rick Murphy to discuss the format, the schedule for 2019. And it's really important that we get that schedule flowing. We'll announce it in Orlando so you can see what that rhythm and flow will be like for next year. But I'm going to do a quick share screen. If you haven't seen this website yet, I do encourage you to take a quick look. It's the website that we've put together. I've deliberately called it orlandosummit.net so that every year the web address will be the same. Keeps it nice and simple. Okay, so if you go here and have a look at the event, again, orlandosummit.net, it can show you what to expect, the topics that we will cover. I want you to know that my focus for this year is specifically about leadership development. I mentioned at the beginning of our call that what really lies at the heart of entrepreneurship is a willingness for us to become leaders of our own business, leaders of our own destiny, captains of our own ship, so to speak. And we need to learn, in many instances, what skills or attributes are required in order to make that happen in a meaningful way. There's a brief review of last year for those that didn't come last year or weren't able to attend. Some pictures there. The agenda is up. You can see what's happening. We've got, as you will notice, free time built into the schedule. Friday morning, you've got starting your business from scratch, 3 ways to have a breakthrough with technologies, ideas, with drive and determination. Friday afternoon, you've got a free session where you can network with others, collaborate with your team, have team meetings, enjoy the sunshine, go shopping, whatever you want to do while you're in Orlando. Saturday, you've got the leadership playbook, milestones and key indicators, recognition and celebration. We're talking about the wellness home, product technologies and key features, the Nikan Advantage. And Saturday evening, we've got a party with a DJ and everything. It was great last year. Fantastic, fantastic music and great venue. And of course, on the Sunday, we've got an HBM with Jeff Isom, which is fantastic. You got some testimonials here, which you can use and share with your team members to encourage them to come along. You can book your hotel rooms here simply by clicking on that button. And you've got your prices here to get busy and get your tickets sooner rather than later. So that keeps it nice and simple. There is a website, a Facebook page as well for the Leadership Summit. I do post there on a regular basis also. But I want to share a couple of points regarding Orlando and why I just showed that website, because whilst I'm promoting the next coming event, because that's the next event on the schedule, what I'm also doing is demonstrating something that is really critical as we learn to prioritize what we do with all these different events. One of the challenges, and I said at the beginning of the call, that one of the challenges that I wanted to address that comes up in the calls and the mentoring that I have throughout the week is what happens if I can't afford to attend everything? My heart is willing, but my pocket is weak. Yeah. And I want to be everywhere, but I can't. What do I do? Which do I choose? I want to make sure to emphasize something really important. Okay. And this was some advice that I gave on the call that we had just a few days ago with all the leaders and the event hosts and the corporate staff. Was, I think what's important, and this is what I'm doing with Orlando, is every event should be designed with the audience in mind. Yeah. It should not be designed with the speakers in mind. It should be designed with you in mind. And I think that's front and center. What is also critical in order for you to make the right decision, because I'm mindful that some people need to make a choice. Okay. And I respect that. And I don't want anyone to feel guilty that they have to do that. One way that you will feel guilty is if you're choosing personalities. Okay. We don't want to do that. We don't want to choose event hosts over event hosts. What we want to do is choose the event that meets my business needs. And again, each event should be designed to address particular business needs that will support you in growing your business. Does that make sense? So for me, especially, my focus was leadership development. I think I've got some good experience with that, having been the president of the company, having been in the field. I've got both sides of the fence to work from there. I've been doing some speaking recently with Virgin here in the UK and getting some great insights from what they're doing. And we want to have a really clear focus on how you can develop your leadership skills so that you can feel empowered to take your business to the next level. Because one of the big stumbling blocks for most is not their capacity to recruit someone. It's not their capacity to get a new customer. It's their ability to build and maintain and nurture a team. That's the struggle. And that is where the leadership comes in. So if we can learn to master that a little better, we can go so much the further in building our business. So there is some real benefit there in understanding what is the content of the event. So what I would encourage you to do is to look at what is the subject that is being addressed. What is the value to my business so that I can make an informed choice? And because the last thing we want to do is feel like people are choosing personalities over each other and then feeling compromised because they can't make a choice. They've got to choose one, and which way do we go? I think it's important that we understand the direction that we go in moving forward. So that being said, I want you to pay careful attention to what is being promoted. Look at your business needs. Listen to the agendas of the event. Listen to the agendas of the event. Look at how it is being promoted. Look at what the opportunities are there for your growth, for the prosperity of your business, for the financial success of your enterprise. And then follow your heart and make a great choice. And I want you to know we'll support you 100% in every direction, okay? So that being said, I think we kind of come to the end of this call. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's addressed some of the questions that some of you have had, because like I said, that there is so much that we're doing this year. These lock-in events, these Power ABCs, I think they're fantastic. We've got weekly schedules of calls and webinars. We've got regional events that are happening. We've got national events. We've got big events left, right, and center, almost to the point that we're inundating you. And we don't want to overwhelm. We want to keep it simple, yeah? So what we want to make sure is everyone feels comfortable, confident, and equipped with everything they need to move forward and have the best experience possible. We all want one thing as leaders in this business, and that is for everyone to thrive and to succeed and to have a great experience, yeah? And I know that we'll get that when we make those informed decisions. So that being said, I love you. I think we've got a great year ahead that is planned. The events look fantastic and exciting. And one last point that I would say as we conclude, in fact, I can say this, perhaps I'll just end the call now. It's not relevant for the recording. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Don't hang up yet. I've got one last thing as we say goodbye. But I'm going to hit the end to the recording now and say thank you very much.